Hi, today is Wednesday, September 2nd. This is day 3 of our new series called Prayer Equals Oxygen. You know, prayer is one of those spiritual disciplines that we might say, I feel like I never get enough. I wonder if that's how the disciples felt around Jesus. Our focus in the Lord's Prayer is the fourth petition in Matthew chapter 6, verses 11. Give us this day our daily bread. The preceding verse number 10, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, transitions nicely into verse 11. Now Jesus in verse 11 transitions from the will of the kingdom to the kingdom's will on earth. The first word in Matthew chapter 6 verse 11 sets the trajectory for the remaining prayer about the will of the kingdom on earth. Are you ready for the first word? It's give. The concept of giving originated in the kingdom. Giving is the dominant nature of love, and love is the kingdom of God. Give is an action in the will of the kingdom, but most importantly, an attitude in the will of the kingdom. The Lord's Prayer is encased within a larger context of the Sermon on the Mount or the Beatitudes. An attitude is defined as a settled way of thinking. Our attitude is composed of our thinking, our emotions, and behavior. Jesus' instruction about prayer as an attitude involves our thinking, our emotions, and our behavior. This was very different from the rabbinical prayers of the religious leaders of his day. In Jesus' day, the prayers of the religious leaders were very outwardly motivated. They were very liturgical, long and drawn out. Point number 1. Prayer starts with an inward attitude that influences an outward action. Is your thinking, your emotions, your behavior engaged in your prayer? You know, let's look at this. The pronouns in the fourth petition also reveal the will of the kingdom. Notice the usage of the plural pronoun us. There are no personal pronouns of me and mine. The kingdom is not an individualistic culture. In fact, the kingdom lends more to the nature of a collective culture in its formation. Jesus proceeds, give us this day. According to the creation narrative in Genesis, the day was created by God. Just think, even the day who was created by God cannot exist without dependence upon God. And what God creates, he has the right to give away. A day is a period of 24 hours as a unit of time, from one midnight to another. The daytime and the day are in sync and rotation of the earth and its axis. This means there is a set order for the sun to rise and a certain time for the moon to appear. Point number 2, how does your prayer fit into the order of your day that God gave you, that God made? Jesus concluded with the fourth petition, and he said, our daily bread. The prayer now focuses on a personal need, but the supply is not in the context of one day, but the supply is in the context of a daily provision. Just a little bit of food history for you. Did you know that bread in the Jewish culture has 7 steps from beginning to end? The first step is planting of the grain, and that grain must be ripened. Then comes the reaping and the sorting of it to become edible. Then the grain had to be extracted from the husk by threshing. It was winnowed, meaning it was tossed in the air, separated from the chaff from the wheat. And the wheat is then grinded into a flour-like substance. The flour is sifted again, and then other items are added. Then it was kneaded. All of this involves intense labor. I want to revisit the point that I started at the beginning. Do you feel like you ever pray enough? Have you ever wondered, is that how Jesus' disciples felt around him? Just a reminder, prayer starts with an attitude that influences an action. Perhaps your attitude about prayer needs to change. What is your thinking, your emotions, and your behavior toward prayer? Be honest, and guess what? Go to God in prayer about it. Let me pray. Father, you know each of us. You know what we are. You know what we think. You know what we feel. You know how we behave. You know our attitude about prayer. Help us to see prayer the way you see prayer, like an oxygen in my life, like something I need to breathe and inhale and then exhale and get rid of all the toxins out of my life. I declare a fresh new perception on prayer, a new attitude on prayer that engages your thinking, your emotions, and your behavior. As this exchange happens, may it become and change your whole process about prayer and be transformed to the image of God. May you meet God face to face and eye to eye, and may it be a real thing. God bless you. Have a good day.